Hi, my name is Don, and I have a 2001 PT Cruiser, and I'm doing some work on it today. Major work on the air conditioning, but I had to replace the compressor because it was bad, and I took it all apart, and it's a pretty lengthy process and a lot of stuff involved, but I hope I don't forget anything. But it's pretty comprehensive stuff. I watched on YouTube a lot of stuff on how to do this. This is actually the first time I'm actually doing a whole complete thing, and I want to do it right. But so anyway, I did take auto technician course over at the college over by Nicolay, and I was also aircraft mechanic in the U.S. Navy. I worked on airplanes. Some engines I did, painting, the structures and the hydraulics, so I've done a lot of stuff. But this is the first time I'm actually doing the whole air conditioning system on my car. But anyway, I'll go into it, and the issue was, if you watch my other video, is I had a compressor problem. The pressure was like 95, and then on the condensers, on the low pressure side was like 78. So they were saying that it's like equal, so that the compressor was shot. And so I went and ordered a new compressor, and I start reading instructions on it, thinking that, I can just change the compressor. But then they were saying that when a compressor fails, I was reading on the instructions, on the compressor instructions, it says you have to flush your whole system out. But then I looked into it a little bit more, and that's a little bit more than that. There could be metal pieces, distributed out through your whole air conditioning system. So basically, you have to clean out everything and replace your condenser, just totally replace it, and replace your dryer and your orifice tube. And then you could clean out the lines and the evaporator, and that's what I'm attempting to do right now. Clean out my evaporator with the AC flush. But anyway, when I started the inspection, I'm like, well, I took my compressor all apart. I took the car, as here it's all you can see, it's all the whole front of the car is gone, the radiator. But actually, that wasn't all too bad. All in all said, I thought it was going to be a major work, but it's not too much problem. Getting the front, But anyway, it's not too bad. It's not as drastic as I thought it would be. Pretty simple, basically. And I'm really glad that that's out of the way too, because the one good thing that I was wondering about is it was saying there's a power steering line, which is right here, which I didn't know what that was at first, but it's actually, here's the power steering. There's the power steering right here, and here is one of the lines for the power steering, and it goes all the way in front, and it rubs on the fan. Plastic rubs right here, not the fan itself, but the shroud. And then I'm like, whoa, you do not want to damage that. At first I thought it was just a bar in there, but no, that's a tube. You do be careful of that, and you do not have to remove that, providing that you take it off from this direction out. But anyway, so I was debating on whether I should take apart my whole compressor, and not take apart the whole compressor, tear apart everything, and I'm like, So I'm like thinking, well, I don't know if there's parts throughout my whole system. I don't know. So when I was in the U.S. Navy, we were working on a jet engine, and I think I don't remember what the one that sounds like a vacuum cleaner. I forget what the E2 Hawkeye. I'm not sure. I don't remember which airplane it was, but or one of the jets. That I don't know. I don't remember exactly which one it was. But anyway, you know, they're saying, you know, you go through all the fluids in the engine, and you literally look at every little piece, you know, in your oil, you know, the hydraulic fluid, or you know, whatever you're working on, and make sure that there's no metal pieces in it. And you know, that's what they do in the Navy, you know, to make sure their engines are, you know, to see how their engines are running, you know, if they're taking apart stuff. And so I'm like thinking, well, I'll do the same thing with the compressor. So I took the compressor and I emptied it out on some handy wrap, and I seen some little black pieces, you know, falling on with the oil. I emptied like maybe 3 ounces of oil, I think, something like that. But I have it right here. Here's the oil, and there is, and I looked in there, and you can see that there's little black pieces in there. Some of them are quite big, like a 1/16, you know, inch. You know, and they're metal pieces. They're metal debris from the compressor, obviously. So after I found that out, I'm like, oh no, now what? Now I got problems, you know. But that's when I learned about, you know, you gotta pretty much, and then, you know, put all your, clean out everything, you know. So and then I was trying to figure out, I was like, how do I do it? So so I went and they say you can't just use shop air, you know, from your air compressor. It's got to be filtered and it's got to be dry, you know, because you do not want dry. I mean, you don't want moisture in your, you know, system. And then so I got the little. I bought a new compressor. It's $200 over at it's like a 20-gallon one. It's a Husky. I had a DeWalt one, but somebody stole it from me. But anyway, here's the to get the water out and to filter it here. And here's the beads, like dry beads. That I guess that's the stuff that, you know, dries it out. And so I haven't seen any water in there. But so, and then they want, you know, filtered dry shop air. So and then, oh geez, all my transmission fluid is leaking out. Out of my well, I guess I'm just gonna have to clean that up later. Yeah, this is, yeah, too. And another thing that happened, I was looking at these lines here, these connector things. I mean, I was looking at this a long time ago. You know, this is the transmission line, the cooler that goes in there. This is on my radiator. And see that clamp right there? It's just completely rusted. It's just rusted solid. You don't even resemble a screw and a bolt anymore. So I was contemplating what I would have to do to get these hoses off. So you know what? I was looking at it and I sat there. I tried to. I'm like, I can grind them off, and you know, I was like, how am I going to get them off? You know, and they won't turn. They don't even look like a bolt. They're just solid rust. But I didn't own this car, you know. I didn't own this, car, prior, so I just bought it used. But I cannot believe I'm looking underneath there, and it's like, oh God, how am I supposed to change my radiator? And it's like I dreaded the day when I was gonna have to take that apart. But you know what? I thought, why don't I? When I was sitting there, I tried filing them off and grind them. If I did that, boy, that's a lot of work, and I'm probably gonna grind into my radiator. So I thought maybe, why don't I just cut the hoses and just leave the clamps on there, stuck on there. I mean, they're holding. Leave them on. Just then, if I want to change them when my radiator gets old, and then we got to replace the radiator, then fine. That they leave the clamps on, whatever, or grind them off. Then, then I don't have to worry about ruining my radiator. So I just cut the lines, and so what I'll do is I'll just use some pipe clamps and use this, just to put in the lines right here. One of these, it's a 3/8 inch ID, one of these things, and just put pipe clamps on it, and and one of these things here. I'm like, yeah, that'll work. Put some pipe clamps on it, good to go. And where I'm losing all my transmission fluid. But anyway, I know I'm probably going to miss a lot of stuff, but I'm going to try and, remember it all. But anyway, yeah, taking this grill apart, which is right there, the front grill. Not bad. That was very easy. It's only held on by two little nuts here, or like bolts, and I think two over here comes right off. There's the only places that's held on is up here and there. Then I'm like, wow, that was easy. And I'm like, oh my God, what's this thing? Then here, this is the part that goes from here to here. Simple also. Just two bolts here, 2 bolts there. Take it right off. And then this middle thing here, this T thing, this is down here like this. This was maybe kind of, a little hard, but not that difficult. I mean, you don't want to drop your bolt, when you're taking off the bolts. But this goes right here. And right there, it comes right off. Easy, piece of cake. And then your radiator is accessible. Oh, but also before you do that, they say to take out your battery tray and disconnect your cables, right? Your negative on your battery. They say that negative is more important than the positive for disconnecting stuff, but either one, it won't work. I mean, it'll work either way. So then just take out the battery tray. The battery tray is right there. And it's not too much of a problem. I mean, it looked pretty corroded, and stuff. Oh, and here's your starter. I'm like, what the heck? That's where the starter is on this car. Because I'm not used to working on front wheel drives. I had, older cars before when I had a differential in the back. But there's your starter right there. So if you got problems, you got to put, it's not just out in front, and you got to take a whole bunch of stuff off, And you got to take your wheel off too over here. But I'm dripping transmission fluid all over still, but that's all right. Not that much came out of there. I just cut the lines, and maybe just a half a quart came out. But not too bad. Anyway, here's the compressor that I bought. The one thing too, when you this was very well. Anyway, okay, to take this off, then there, and And yeah, so actually all in all, it was really easy. You know, to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be a major, you know, problem, you know, but everything was just nice, real nice and easy. I mean, just pretty straightforward, pretty simple. You know, the hardest thing was looking at those pipe clamps, but I found a solution around that. You know, so I'll just, you know, I'd rather cut a hose and cut into my radiator. But anyway, I'm probably gonna jump around a little, and then the compressor sits. The compressor sits. Oh, it's probably, I don't know what that is. I just from the line. I don't know if that's water or what. But anyway, the compressor is right there. It sits right there. The 4 bolts that come out. It sits here, right in here. And the thing that I had a problem too here. This thing, I'm like, because when I got the new one, mine had this part on it, and it had this part on it too. You have to transfer this part here for the electrical, just to hold this thing. I mean, it would be the fans right here. I mean, the fan belt, so you don't want this getting lost in there. So you gotta take this part. I mean, take that off the old one, real nice and easy. Just one little bolt hold right there. And then you gotta take this out. This was a little bit more I mean, I didn't know what it was at first, but it's a high pressure cutoff switch is what it is. But at first, and to it, you need a, this is a snap ring. There's a snap ring in there. And at first, when I got the compressor that had this, it had this in the hole, that switch. Instead of that switch, there was this thing there. And in fact, you can see it's, you know, about a 1/2 inch in width. So, but this fits all the way in here, and all you do is take a pair of, but you got to take the snap ring off first, and there's a snap ring in there. Then just take a pair of vice grips and pull it out. And then this switch looks just about like this on the inside. You just push that in, and you put another snap ring in there, and that's it. Simple. Then there's a little O-ring in there too, you know. So that was already in there. But so you'll definitely need some snap ring pliers. And here's my, oh, and also you have to remove this from your old accumulator. That just comes off with you just unscrew it, and there's an O-ring on there. So you gotta take that. That's another pressure switch. By jumping that, you can get your compressor to turn on if it's not turning on. So anyway, now as far as this, then getting to the yeah, and you don't have to take apart, you know, the book says, you know, to take your this off, and I'm like, you know, unbolt it here and there, and I'm like, gee, that's gonna really be a problem. I'm like, you know, and there's no room, and the power steering line is sitting right against one of these, and so you don't want to be bumping that line at all. So the book was saying, you know, remove this and remove the fan, you know, take this. I'm like, boy, what? I'm like, geez, that sounds terrible. There's no room in there either, you know. So, but by going in the front side, very simple. Just take the whole thing out, leave this on. But just one thing, when you take it off, this electrical connector is on here. I was trying to remove it, and I'm like, what's wrong? Well, don't come out. So, All right, and then now the compressor, or I mean the condenser here, this is the condenser. And so it had these clips in here, these things holding these, this rubber is what it is, or rubber, some kind of rubber. Just to, I guess that just blocks the rain, you know, when it's raining, and I suppose that's good. And this is the transmission, or the transaxle cooler right here. And I kind of like thought that maybe this was part of this, but no, it's not. You know, it's totally separate. This is the new condenser. And then there was these things here, but I just broke them off. I put a hammer in there and I just clawed them off. You know, the claws with the hammer. These things were like this, and I just took it. These were on the other side here, and I just popped them off. You know, here, and I got some nylon string which will not rot, even if exposed to water, so that it will last, you know, for a long time. But so I just, you know, did that to hold these, you know, on there, and there's little slots in there. Oh yeah, you can see right there where you can just put the string through, or however you want to do it. But this has got to come back on here, and these things, there's little things here to like these tabs here, they just go into each other, you know, and just take them apart. And also too, I got a scale to weigh your refrigerant, you know, because you know, I was gonna try and put some, you know, put my refrigerant in. And so I was gonna use this Arctic freeze stuff, because, you know, maybe it'll work, you know, good. So this is, the system also says to put in 25 ounces of refrigerant and 5.5 ounces of oil total. So 25 ounces and 5.5 of oil, and it's PAG 46. Then this is the solvent, the Dura II AC Flush Solvent. This is like $30. I got it on eBay, $30 for a quart. Now I don't really know how much of this stuff to use, so I was like thinking maybe a quarter of it, you know, because I'm gonna flush the evaporator too. And I also kind of like doing a little review on this product that I got. This tank here, this is a regulator, and what you do, you use that AC flush solvent, that Dura II AC Flush Solvent, and then you get, I bought this thing. It looks really nice. I really like this thing, you know, this thing right here. When I was a machinist, and these knurls right here, these are time consuming to make, and you know, to make them really good, you gotta press your knurling tool, you know, really long in there and keep on turning it until you get a real nice high knurl on it. And then it takes a while, but I was very impressed by the knurl on this. That's very nice. Then on this other, you know, my, you know, gauge thing, this knurl, this is not even, just took like, not too, there's hardly a knurl on here at all. You know, you can probably see that compared to that knurl on there compared to this one. This is the knurl here. And this one really is nice. I mean, I really like that. It's like, so with the CPS Products TLFGRA A AC Flush Kit, $96.99. Then here, this is the Four Seasons 69991 Dura II Flush Solvent. So I got that. So I got that, and you know, and so to use this thing, I looked on it and watched on YouTube. So at first you put in 40 psi. You put some solvent in here. I really don't know how much, you know, but it says to put 40 psi turn on the, you know, thing, put 40 psi, but just a little bit, and then just to get just a little bit in the evaporator, you know, because right now I got as, you know, trying to figure out how to flush the system here, you know, because I'm not going to take my evaporator out. I mean, that's way in there. I don't want to, you know, mess with that. So, but the thing is this little thing, it has not just a spray nozzle, you know, like, you know, the one thing I like about this kit, it has this little spray nozzle too with the rubber tip, you know, for cleaning out the lines. And also you got to clean out your lines too. Here, this is, you know, I took my line off, and you gotta clean these out too, flush them out with solvent. It's not as intensive as the evaporator, but I like the little thing on there because you can clamp it on your work. I don't know if you can see it in there. But this is the way I elected to do this. Where's my finger? Oh, here. So I just put that clip on here, and it has a little turn handle on it. If you go on the internet, you can see it, and that's really nice. It has, you know, so you don't got to hold the thing there, and so that's really nice. That there's the thing down there. I know it's really hard to see. But that, follow the yellow hose down there. That's the end of it. So it's just right around, and they say to flush it from the opposite end that it goes in. So I figured what I would do is put it through the outlet and push it through backwards. So this is where it would go into the dryer here. And this is the outlet, this is the low pressure side here, and this would, you know, go out. So what I figured on doing was I put it on there, so this will clean the evaporator. So it'll go into the evaporator from here, go in this tube here, it'll go from here. But it'll go through this part here, go into the evaporator, then clean out here, then it'll come out this line here, the high pressure line, which is going in reverse. Usually it's going this way, so in reverse it would be going this way. So this is the high pressure line. This is how I figured out how to do this. How it should work. And so this is the high pressure line here, and it goes into here. And then so I'll, you know, eventually I'll take this line off and clean it out, you know, separately. But that, I mean, no, I'm going to put a new one on here. I got a brand new one. But this is my orifice tube here, my liquid line here, and then it goes through here. And then so, and then you're supposed to catch the fluid on the other side. So what I did was, since my other orifice hole, the tube is got to throw it away. So I just cut the hose right there, and then so I cut the hose right before the orifice tube. You know, like here, this is where the orifice tube is in this line, and I tried to blow through it, and I guess there's a little hole somewhere in here in the middle of the line. I tried blowing through it, and yeah, there's something restricting the flow in there. So it's definitely right. So it's right by that clamp end. Right here, this is the orifice tube, this is the liquid line, and so I just cut it off. And then so when I do my flush, I'm let it go right into this bottle here, you know, right here. And then after I'm done taking that line off anyway, then, you know, this line will be cleaned. And then so the only thing I got to do next is clean this line here, and I'll put something on this side after I'm finished with that. So anyway, they say to regulate this to 40 psi and just let a little bit flow into the evaporator. Let it mix in with the oil and wait 10 minutes. Just half of it. Only put in half of, you know, what your contents, what you're going to add. Then let it sit there for 10 minutes and let it mix in with the solvent and clean and do whatever, you know, mix in with the oil. And then after 10 minutes, then flush the rest of it through at 40 psi, you know, and finish it. And then keep this on for, you know, after it flushes. Don't stop, keep on doing it. And the reason why they say not to stop is because so there's no chance of oil and solvent pooling in your evaporator in a place where you don't want it. They want it all to come out, you know, so there's no liquid left in there. And then so, and I suppose that's why they say do not stop, you know, continue, and then let it blow through dry filtered air, shop air, for half an hour at 80 psi to make sure all the solvent is out of there. And you know, maybe I'll do it a little bit longer just to make sure, you know. But and then also you gotta take off. This is your cruise control, but this is very simple to take off. Here's the electrical connector here. This is on the back of it. And this is your vacuum tube. You gotta take the vacuum tube off. That goes right there. It's just in the way, and it says to remove that anyway. But yeah, and also with this is the condenser right here. There's 4 bolts that hold the condenser on here. There's 1 bolt here, right here, and another bolt here. Oh, and I found out too, you'd be using a 10 millimeter, you know, on a lot of the bolts throughout it. I was like really surprised about 5 bolts were 10 millimeter. So, and then, you know, this is where you just take these off, you take that one off, and there's 2 on the other side, and then there's nothing else attached in this thing. At first I didn't know what was coming off, and I'm like, it wouldn't come off, so I'm like, geez, so I just had to pull it a little bit hard, you know, for the condenser to come off. And then also there's a little rubber strip, this rubber thing on there. Take that one off and put it on here. I've got some glue, but this little rubber strip should go back on, you know, the new one. Take it off your old one, put on the new one. And this is the original Chrysler radiator still yet. But yeah, I don't know too. And also I just went and got the little thing over at Walmart. I got at Walmart. It's a little shot glass, little, you know, ounce thing. That's what I got. It cost 97 cents, you know, to measure it. I was trying to use one of these little things that I got from like when you're sick, you got 20 milliliters. I was trying to do that, but geez, just use the ounces. But so let me go through. Okay, little tiny. Okay, don't remove the power steering, the battery tray, the grill, top crossbar, the bottom crossbar. Cut hose, replace with pipe clamps. The weight. Impossible to remove the condenser orifice tube dryer. Compressor high pressure switch. And just going through the things so I don't forget anything. Oh, and to clean up the starter too. What I did on mine, I just, you know, went and the one bolts were looking a little rusted, so I took one bolt out. I don't want to do it all of it. Then I put some battery grease on there, you know, from the electrical terminal. You know, I sandpapered it and just made it all nice and clean, so my car will start, you know. But, you know, I don't want problems, you know, later on. So if I can get something there, I can fix it. Oh, and then the oil in the compressor, I don't know. they say to put half of the oil in here. And this one compressor it has is 3 ounces of oil in it, delivered from the store. And so then I would need 2.5 more ounces. So it said to put the other half of it in your accumulator, in the inlet side. Here, this is the accumulator. And I was like trying to figure this out, but this is the inlet, the one in the middle. No. I don't remember which one. I don't remember which one I put it in, but I know well, is in this one, because I'm going backwards. So you got to put it in this one, in this part right here, inlet. I suppose maybe it probably wouldn't matter, but this says to put it in the inlet. You know, so what I ended up doing, I don't know, the guy at the auto parts store, he said, "Oh, just put all the oil in here." So I did that, but then I'm like, well, aren't you supposed to put half in your accumulator? And so what I did is I'm like, yeah, I put it all in here though. So I just emptied like an ounce out of here and put it in the here. So there's just still some oil in here. Because I was watching on YouTube. There's like a little hole in here. Those little beads are in here in 2 little bags. I see on YouTube, and there's just a little hole in here with the little pipe, and then it just sucks the oil that's in here, and it brings it over to the compressor. You know, so they say to put half in here and half in there. So this has got 3, so maybe this one's got maybe one ounce in here, and I got another 1.5 ounces in here, so that's 4.5 ounces and 1 ounce in there. That's how mine is, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, all and also too, that one little guy, like that one thing of the Scotty Kilmer, why flushing AC systems doesn't work anymore, you know, the condenser. I'm like, wow, that's very, very good. I like that video. Very informative. And then Eric the car guy, he's got a good thing on, he's got good videos. I like his, you know, videos. But anyway, so, I don't know. I think I've covered pretty much everything that I could think of. But, you know, what I'm going to do to mine is, I always thought about how I would, you know, do this, how I'd weigh it. I got like 5 ounces in here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh this. I'm going to put this all in first. Then I'll weigh the empty can with this, and I'll subtract whatever it weighed at the beginning, so I would know exactly how much I'm putting in. Because I'm like, what, I'm like, just guess. And it's like, oh, it looks, you know, why not weigh it and get it perfect? You know what I mean? That's what that Scotty Kilmer said. So hopefully, I got 22 ounces here, and so depending on how much is in here, maybe 5. You know, so that would be, whatever, 22 and 5, you know, that would be perfect almost. But whatever numbers I need, and then if I need more, there's an ounce in here, I'm guessing, maybe. And so I'm just going to do that, you know. And here's my old condenser. Look at this. This is just coming apart. This whole thing is just falling apart. The whole thing just fell off of here. See, this all just came apart right here. Just, yeah, here you can see it. Just probably needed a new one anyway. But so that's my old condenser. So anyway, yeah, I don't know, and getting this clip off is really difficult. I end up always breaking those red clips on here. I every time I just break the things. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I never put those red clips back in there. But I hope that it doesn't come out. But maybe I'll put some tape on it there or something. I mean, I don't know why they make it so hard to come apart. They make it impossible to get it off. But anyway, I did all my stuff, and I don't know. I don't know if I'll make a video when I finish, but I'm gonna do the rest of this tonight. So hope you liked my video, and this is Don Derwin, and I hope you liked the video and hope this helps you out. This is you know, on a 2001 PT Cruiser, doing the compressor change, you know, putting in a new one. So so if you have anything you need, you know, on a 2001 PT Cruiser, well, you know, maybe look at my video. Or I haven't seen any air conditioning on the PT Cruiser. So anyway, so hope you liked the video and hope this was informative, and so thanks a lot for watching. So I'll catch you later. Okay, see ya. Hope this helped you out. Okay, bye.